Hey guys! So a while ago, our grocery store had split chicken breast for like 87 cents a pound. It was a special of the week. And I was like, what the heck is split chicken breast? So I went on Pinterest and there was like nothing for split chicken breast other than like roasting it in the oven. And I didn't want to do that. So I played around with it. I did not play around with the raw chicken breast. I cooked it and tried to make some interesting recipes with it, and I think I came up with something pretty cool. So what I'm going to show you is what I did with one pack of split chicken breast. I made 5 yummy and interesting meals out of it. I tried to keep it cheap, I tried to keep it easy, and I tried to keep it where you can do one big day of meal prepping and then have the rest of the week super easy throw together dinners. And I love what I came up with, and I hope that you love it too. So let's go check out my meal plan and then jump right into it.
Alrighty, here is our menu for the week. Chicken pot pie, chicken flautas, chicken salad sandwiches, chicken gnocchi soup, barbecue chicken, pizza. So what we have to do today is we got to make a crust for the chicken pot pie, and we have to prepare all the chicken for all of that. We've got to make bread for sandwiches, bread to go with the soup, and we've got to make some pizza crust, and we've got to prep our veggies and get everything set up so we can have an easy rest of the week. All right, the star of the show, the split chicken breast. Got this pack for 99 cents a pound, and it's about 4.34 pounds, so the total is just under $4.50, which is amazing because we're going to be making 5 meals out of this. So we need to get this going, and the way we're going to cook it is boil it. Boiling chicken is a completely new thing to me. In fact, I had never done it before until I got my very first pack of split chicken breasts. So it's very new to me. But all we need to do is to get enough water to cover the chicken and get it boiling on the stove, and then just put the chicken in. I had it boiling for 30 minutes. It wasn't quite long enough, so I added 5 more minutes, and then it was perfect, and I just let it sit there to cool while we start doing other stuff.
Alexa, play Hamilton.
Let's get started with our carbs. We're going to start with the pizza crust. I have 1 1/4 cup of warm water between 110 and 105 degrees, a half a teaspoon of yeast and 1 teaspoon of honey, a half a tablespoon of salt. And stir that together and let it sit for 5 minutes so that yeast can activate. And while that is activating, we're going to get started on the bread that's going to go with our chicken salad sandwiches and our soup. So this is a Dutch oven artisan loaf, just a white loaf, and it's 3 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of yeast, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 1/2 cups of water. And you just stir those all together, and the dough is going to be, what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it, but watch. Oh, my spoon broke. Shaggy. The dough is going to be shaggy, which means it just doesn't come together and it looks shaggy. So then we're going to cover that with plastic wrap and a tea towel and let it sit on the counter for 24 hours, and we will bake it tomorrow. Let's check on that yeast. Not quite ready, so we're going to let that sit and we're going to get started on our pie crust. So we have a 1 1/3 cup flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of cold Crisco. I like to use the butter flavor, but regular is fine. That's what I'm using here. I'm just going to mix that in with my pastry mixer, blender, cutter, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to mix in 3 to 6 tablespoons of ice water. And it really does just depend on the climate or the day to how much water you're going to use. And you're just going to add that water until it all comes together and you can form it into a ball. I got my pie dough ball all ready to go. Put it in plastic wrap, make a disc out of it. See those nice ribbons of Crisco? Delicious. Put that in the refrigerator until it's dinner time. Okay, the pizza crust. Gonna mix that all together. And then you're going to, knead it for 5 minutes. So have fun watching me knead for 5 minutes. It's in fast motion, so it shouldn't take that long. Phew, what a workout. So we're gonna cover that with plastic wrap and let it sit on the counter for 5 hours. And just to help me remember, I write the time on it. So I know at 4:30, it's been 5 hours and it's time to do the next step. I just chopped up a bunch of stuff and I wasn't filming. I'll show you what I did. Y'all, I was so bummed that I didn't hit record. I had some awesome knife skills to show off, but oh well. So I chopped up some green onions and I chopped up some cilantro, and it's just so nice when these are already chopped up and ready to go. And now I'm just gonna start chopping up some onion to have on hand, ready to go for when I need it. I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention that we're making chicken stock. So this is my tip from me to you. Have a Ziploc bag of scraps that you keep in your freezer. Then when it's time to make stock, you just dump them in, let it simmer, you're good to go. So this is the bag that I've had in my freezer for a couple of weeks. It just has some celery bits in it, and I just put the onion tops and peels from the onion I just chopped up. And now we're going to prep some carrots and maybe something else. Enjoy. Time to shred the chicken. So it's cooled down, but it's definitely not like cool. I still have to use forks because it's pretty hot. It'll burn my fingers. So I'm just taking the meat off, which is pretty easy at this point because it's been boiled for quite a while, a total of 35 minutes. So it's really easy to get off the bone. So we're just taking that all of the bone and putting the bones and the skin back in the pot because we're going to make stock. all the chicken's off, and I'm just adding some salt. Here's me showing you the nutrition facts of salt and then the label. So this is like the best trick ever. Use a hand mixer to shred your chicken. It takes like 5 seconds. It's awesome. So that's what we did. It looks beautiful, and it's ready to be divided into all the portions that we need for dinner. I'm putting about a cup in each container, a little bit more in a couple of them, because some recipes don't need as much chicken as others, but it's pretty even for the most part. And now it's stock time. So all the chicken bones and skin are in there. There's a little bit of meat left on the bones, but not much. I'm gonna dump in the vegetable scraps. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil, cover it, and let it simmer until dinner time. So right now it's about noon. I'm gonna let it sit until, well, 5:30. And now the crust, the pizza crust. It must be 4:30 now. So we're gonna take it out and divide it, and then we're going to just fold it over 8 times. And I'm trying to count with one hand, but then I remember I don't know how. So fold it over 8 times, and then you're gonna put it in an oiled bowl, and you can put that in the refrigerator for up to 7 days. So we're not gonna eat this crust until the end of the week, but I think it's so cool. And the longer it sits, the better it is. Since my surface is already floured, we might as well get that pie crust rolled out. So I've got my rolling pin, I got it floured, and there's my pie plate. See all that yumminess? All those specks are the solidified fat, and it's just gonna make this pie crust so flaky and delicious. So I'm just rolling it out so it fits on my pie pan. Time to start dinner. We're gonna start with some olive oil and about 1/3 cup of those onions that we chopped up. We're just gonna let those cook down a little bit. We're gonna add some salt and some pepper and some herbes de Provence and let that keep cooking. And I'm going to get the stock strained. The big stock pot with the insert, the pasta strainer insert, is awesome for stock. You don't have to pour it over anything. You just pull the insert out, dump it in the trash or your compost pile or whatever, and then the stock is just all ready to go in the big pot. It's amazing. I love it. The onions are looking great. Just give those a stir, and then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. I forgot to say it's 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of flour. We're making a roux, and that is what's going to thicken up our pot pie filling. So after the flour is cooked for a couple minutes, we're going to add some of the stock. I added 2 cups to start with, and then I added the vegetables. It's just a bag of frozen veggies. You can do mixed veggies, you can do whatever you like. And now I'm adding in a 1/2 block of cream cheese. I just kind of tear it up. I decided to do cream cheese so that I didn't have to commit to like a big gallon of milk or spend money on heavy whipping cream. A 1/2 block of cream cheese is what, like 50 cents? So I feel like that was cost effective, and it made it creamy. And I added the chicken, and it's looking a little thick, so I'm just gonna add about 2 more cups of stock. use my rolling pin to get that crust off of the table and make it easier to put onto the pie crust. Just laid it over the pie pan, and I'm just going to crimp the edges, and my little helper is going to sneak little pieces. Cut some vents in the top, and it's ready to go into the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes. I like to put mine onto a sheet pan because more often than not it bubbles over. And here's a look at the stock that we made. We got a whole gallon of stock, which is awesome. And there is our bread that we will bake tomorrow. It's looking delicious. That stock we're going to use in the chicken and gnocchi soup recipe, and the rest of it I will just put into freezer containers and use it the next time I need stock. Time to do the dishes. The joys of cooking. That's pretty clean still, but yikes. Okay, bye. And dinner is served. This looks amazing. I would show you the inside, but we actually gifted this to a neighbor because my husband brought home dinner that night. Yay! Now it's time to bake that bread. So I'm going to get the oven preheated to 400 degrees. And we're going to put the Dutch oven in there while it's preheating, and it's going to get nice and hot. So this is what the bread looks like after it's been sitting on the counter for 24 hours. You can see it's really expanded and there's lots of bubbles in it, and it's pretty soft. So we're just going to dump that out on a floured surface and form it into a little loose ball loaf. So here's what the round loaf looks like. You don't have to knead it or anything, so it's super easy. I like to put a little bit of extra flour on top just because it makes it look pretty. So after a day, this is what the pizza dough looks like in the refrigerator. You can see it's risen quite a bit, and it's going to be super delicious. So now it's time to get the bread in the oven. The oven is preheated to 400 degrees. I just plop the bread in and put it into the oven for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes is over, take the lid off, put it back in the oven for 10 minutes. Here it is in all its beautiful glory. Is there anything better than fresh baked bread? Listen. Oh, it's so good. Can't wait to eat this. You know what is pretty awesome? Is that we found out that we can throw this bad boy in the freezer, pull it out and heat it up in the oven, and it's still just as good. That's probably not good information to have because you can just fill your whole freezer with them. Oh, I can't wait. Yum! Dutch oven bread, baby. So now it's time for dinner number 2, which is chicken flautas. I have a can of pinto beans. You could use whatever kind of bean you have. And I have a container of the chicken, a half a block of cream cheese, and I'm going to stir that up and start getting the cream cheese melted and add some spices. Cumin, chili powder, and good old salt and pepper. Now I'm just going to shred my half a block of cheese and put that in the pot and continue to stir it until it's gooey and delicious. Now it's time to assemble the flautas. I have my favorite tortillas, and I'm just going to spoon some filling in, roll them up, put them in the pan, grease them, bake them on 350 for about 25 minutes or until golden brown and crispy. And here they are. These were delicious. I just made some quick guacamole to go on the side to dip them in. I just had some avocados because they were on sale, and I just added some of our green onions that we prepped, some of the cilantro, and I think that's it, and just some lime, and it was delicious. And then we still had 4 left over that my husband took for lunch the next day. These were great. You could add rice to go on the side or some vegetables or anything that you like, but this was perfect for us. So we have 2 carrots that we prepped, 2 ribs of celery that we prepped, 3 garlic cloves. We've got a package of gnocchi. I got this at Fry's, but they also have it at the dollar store for $1, so that is awesome. We've got our chicken that's prepped and cooked. We've got the rest of that onion, and we have our 8 cups of broth. So I'm gonna cut everything up and get it going in the pot. Got all the veggies in the pot, and now I'm just going to peel my garlic, and I'm just going to use my garlic press to mince it up. And I just threw the bread in the oven to warm up. So don't be like me. Don't forget to add your garlic. I totally forgot to add it. Once those vegetables get soft, add that garlic. I added it after I added my broth, and it was still delicious, so maybe it doesn't actually matter, but I bet it would be better if you cooked it with the vegetables first. So bring that to a boil, and then you're going to add your chicken, bring it up to a boil again. Once everything is all hot and bubbly, add the gnocchi and stir that all in. That only needs to cook for about 5 minutes, and you'll know it's done because all the gnocchi will float to the top. Then I added a squirt of lemon juice, and I just happened to have a little bit of half and half in the refrigerator, so I added that too. And you can see that I got my bread all cut up, and we are ready to eat. This was so delicious, way better than chicken noodle soup. This is a winner and super cheap and easy to make. Delicious. On to day 4. Alright guys, this is going to be the easiest dinner ever. We're doing chicken salad sandwiches tonight on our homemade bread. So we need some celery, and we need some grapes, and I just happen to have some red onion, so I'm going to use the red onion that I have because it needs to be used up. And then I'll probably just use some green onions to garnish. So let's get this chopped up. Violet's here. You're so happy that your cousin dog is here.
We're helping Mom cook dinner. We're helping Mom.
You're such a good helper. Oh, you're so growly.
Mom, that's Java.
The dog's growling?
No, big doggy Java.
Oh. Good job. Oh no, you got celery in your sleeve? Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I'm going to throw that chicken in, and I'm going to add some onion powder, and I'm going to add some garlic powder and salt and pepper and give that a good mix. I like to mix this all up before I add the mayonnaise just to make sure that everything is well combined. Then we're just going to squirt in some mayonnaise and stir it up. Put it on our bread with a piece of lettuce, and dinner is served. I just served this with some veggies on the side, but you could serve it with leftover soup from last night or some chips or whatever you like. This was so delicious. That bread is perfect for eating warm and perfect for sandwiches. Yummy! It's time for barbecue chicken pizza. So I have my oven preheating to 500 degrees with my pizza stone in it, getting nice and hot, and I'm just going to knead and stretch my dough until it's the right size to fit on my stone. Then we're going to need the other half of our block of cheese, the rest of our chicken, and some barbecue sauce. I'm just using the cheapest barbecue sauce I could find. It was about 99 cents a bottle at Fry's. We're going to grate the cheese and then put the barbecue sauce on the pizza, put the cheese on, put the chicken on, and then into the oven. So here's a new little trick for you if you don't have a pizza pill. I don't have a pizza pill, so I'm using the back side of a sheet pan with parchment paper on it, and I put the pizza crust on it before I put the toppings on. And then before I slide it onto the stone that's in the oven, I'm just going to trim the parchment paper around the pizza so it gets off all the corners and stuff so the parchment paper doesn't burn. And this is so easy. I was so shocked that it works so well. And you'll see how I do it in just a second. Alright, and here's what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. The crust got all bubbly, the cheese is melted, the chicken has a little bit of charred bits on it. It looks delicious. And now it's time to get the extra yummy toppings on. I have the cilantro that we prepped, the green onions that we prepped. I also diced up some pickled jalapenos and sprinkled those on. And then my secret weapon is some dill relish that I put on it. It makes it taste like a barbecue chicken sandwich. It was so good. And I also have some ranch dressing on it. And here is our plate. This was delicious. The crust was perfect. Totally worth the extra effort. And here's a bonus for you guys. I was looking through the ads online, and what's this I see? Split chicken breast for 69 cents a pound at Fry's. So this deal is good until the 16th, I think. So if you have a Fry's near you, go out and get you some split chicken breast and try these recipes.
So there we go, 5 dinners with 1 pack of split chicken breast. I was super curious about how much money I spent on everything, so I added everything up, and it was $17.80 for everything I used to make those 5 dinners. And we also had lunches for a couple days out of it, so that's pretty good. I hope this gave you some inspiration or some knowledge about split chicken breast. I hope you try some of these recipes, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you when I'm pondering again. Bye!